going, going live. Almost like it's like going once, going, gone. So, the highest bidder. And we're here, everybody, with what's going on. It's your boy King Gabe here. And as you can see, I've changed locations there for tonight in my humble abode, as you can see. So yeah, a little different in the setup here. So, so anyway, like I say, we're here to look at book number two of Yumeko. No, Hiko's Magical Time Arises. Last time we were looking at Brownie to the Rescue, book number one. And of course, next week we'll be in the Supreme Star Striker. Oh, yes. And as all of y'all are coming in, make sure y'all definitely hit the likes. As a YouTuber I look at says they call themselves sort of stupid. As a keep the likes and mics on. So yeah, hit them likes so YouTube can know how good this is. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, that's what we're gonna go into. Also, definitely want to let you guys know. I mentioned a little bit about it last night in the before we went into the Bible reading stream. Um, so to give you a little more detail, uh, what I mentioned about trying to make a Yumiko play. Let's see if I can just bring up the. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I had sent the email to Miss Sherry Gray over the Lumpy Grits on YouTube. I think that's her production uh, name, and I think also Sherry Gray is like her stage name there, from what I heard there. Um, but anyway, but she was also the one, as I stated before, she was also the one who had the Bolger, who was over the Bolger Fall Fest where we did our book signing there, and also she was over the Sherlock Holmes play that BJ the Supreme was in. So I sent the email to her. I said, I wanted to, find out, what all I needed, what on my end as far as, trying to get a play made, of a Yumiko story there, and kind of explained a little bit about the books there, all three of them. So, and then the day I sent it was Tuesday. So I also mentioned about the live stream while I was reading the first book, and she replied back. Let's bring it back up. She said she would send a sign up packet next week. So yeah, at some point next week she'll be getting a sign up packet, and um, another thing she mentioned was to focus on just one of the stories, obviously, quite obviously, because it'd be quite a that would be a mighty long play trying to do all three of these books. Yeah, probably that would probably come out even longer than a Tyler Perry play. But also that it's try to have it made where it could fit into like a 10-minute story for a play festival. Sort of like when people submit their stuff to film festival to try to get themselves out there and get some people to sponsor sponsor what they doing and stuff. And next thing you know, they be having major movies or TV series. That was how the guy who made Digimon got out there. That's why we got Digimon, Digital Monsters. He submitted that little short that's at the beginning of the first Digimon movie in America. That was actually a film festival short, and that's how we ended up getting the franchise Digimon. So yeah, so yeah, 10-minute play festival. Kind of got an idea of what I'm going to do. It's gonna definitely be more brownie focused story. And brownie focused story. And Pasadena Cat Pink, my Queen Tina is in. What's up? What's up? What's up? Or as Martin say to Gina, "What up, Gina?" Say. So it's basically gonna be, like I say, one of what Hiko was telling Samuel about in the first book about Brownie's mission to Uranus there, which was also a story that was years ago back in elementary submitted to a Disney writing contest, and it was like, well, apparently, sorry you didn't win, Gabe, but keep on writing and don't. Here's a commemorative pin. So, yeah. Yeah, didn't quite meet Mickey's qualifications there. Yeah, but like I say, yeah, that's why we still keep going. Like I said, it's just like when they made the Ninja Turtle movies with Jim Henson's help. There were people did not. There were a lot of people did not want to pick that movie up. It was like Ninja Turtles. That ain't going. I don't want to do no Ninja Turtles movie. Next thing you know, that first one made a success. So about that Ninja Turtles movie, let's we can work out a deal. Yeah, see, when you make that money, everybody want to holler at you then. So yeah, so yeah, like I say, yeah, try to get within festival and everything, and hopefully we can go from there and make something out of that there. So that's what's going to be going on. Well, more info will be coming next week. What's up, EJ? EJ Supreme! EJ Supreme! Future TV star, wrestler, and singer, dancer, deacon at the church, and choir director. this this man's got it all in one. Mr. EJS, the only one. Oh, okay. See, I thought you see, yeah, just say, yeah, both. So, like, I'm trying to get stuff off the ground. Oh, EJ, he trying to get stuff off the ground too. So, yeah, we some busy brothers there. Yeah, so yeah, they say little little over. Sometimes a little over, but for good reason, I can say. But hey, at least we're busy in a positive way. So all right, so let's get on into the second book there. Oh yeah, Star Striker will be coming up next week. Yeah, book number 3. So yeah, that will be the live stream next week. So for the night, yeah, the HIKO'S magical time arises. This will lead to Samuel wanting to don cape and cowl, because I mean, look at what Hiko got going on here. Got the whole cape thing. And he sort of Hiko's little cape style. Everything is more like a inspiration from, like, say, Yugi. Yu-Gi-Oh! The whole Egyptian vibe and everything. Matter of fact, just a little thing to let you guys in on. He's actually part Egyptian there. So yeah, there's going to be some importance to that part of him there. Later in the series, you'll find out when we get to that point there. Don't want to give it all away. Let's say the adventure continues as an evil sorcerer named Ramon Gabon that we met in the first book traps Hiko's grandparents in the den of the deadly dragon skeleton. Along with some help from Brownie and his new friends, Hiko must use a special power within him to defeat Skeleton and save his grandparents. Find out what happens. Uh-oh. So that's what we're gonna do. Also, you notice notice the little watch here around his neck there. Yeah, sort of. This way, you're gonna find out about that item as well. Matter of fact, see, got my own little watch there, just like Hiko. So I was like, kind of also kind of inspired from Yugi because he had saw him like wearing the Millennium Puzzle around his neck, and then he had other people that had Millennium items and stuff like that. Yep, kind of got me into the whole wearing items around my neck kind of thing there. So, all right, a little sippy sip. All right, there's a picture of one of the evil forces they'll be facing coming up. Skeleton spider. That see something like you see something like that coming up in the field, like you out on an open field or on the freeway or something. You see something like that coming toward you. Uh, um, we gone. So yeah, get as Sonic say, you get out of there. Okay, chapter 1. Kind of picking up a little bit from the first from some scenes in the first book. Emily had decided to check on Dashdale shortly after talking to Brownie. When she arrived in his room, she heard Flora in a panic as she explained about Hiko and Samuel and listened. Flora shouted, "I'm so sorry, everyone, but Hiko and his friends are in danger." "What?" shouted everyone. "Where are they?" asked Brownie. "Trapped inside the abandoned cola mart," said Flora, starting to tear up. They they went in because I I told them you were in there, Brownie. Then I realized he wasn't, and I tried to get them out, but I got separated from him in that warp, and it's all my fault. I'm so sorry, Brownie. She broke down crying as she said, "Calm down, Flora," said Brownie. I'm gonna get them out." "Well, I'm coming with you," said Gerald. "And I will assist you too as well," said Mr. Fluffles. "So will I," said Dashdale, quickly getting up from the bed, but then he quickly fell from the back pain. "Stay here and continue to rest your back," said Brownie firmly. "But," started Dashdale, but then he noticed Brownie and Mr. Fluffles glaring at him and said, "Fine, I'll stay." Emily entered the room and said, "I'm coming too." "No, Emily," said Brownie. "This is a beyond fire emergency." "That involves 2 kids in danger," said Emily sternly. "I refuse to stay behind." "I appreciate your concern," said Mr. Fluffles, "but this particular mission is better if we deal with it. However, I promise, once you've had more training, we'll let you come on some of the Beyond Fire missions too. Okay?" Emily sighed in disappointment and said, "Yes, sir." "I'll come help too," said Flora. "Not so fast," said Brandon. "Why not?" asked Flora. You're gonna you're going to stay here at the fire station until we come back," said Brownie. "But I want to help," said Flora. "I think you've helped enough," said Emily. "What's that supposed to mean?" said Flora angrily. "Well, based on your confession I overheard, you're the reason those kids are in danger in the first place," said Emily. "I told them not to go in," said Flora, raising her voice. "Yeah, after leading them to the danger," said Emily. "What are you trying to say, kitty cat?" "Hey, hey, hey. Now you see here, don't you ever call me a kitty cat. Well, stay out of the business." Wait, okay, I'm going to have to teach you some respect. "That's enough, you two," shouted Brownie. Almost like Captain America breaking up a fight. "Yes, let's focus on the rescue at hand," said Mr. Fluffles. On that note, Mr. Fluffles, Billy, Brownie, and Gerald left the room and headed to the Fire Command Center. And now we're in chapter 2. In in the Barnhard Forest, a tall blue fox with green eyes appeared. She searched the entire forest a long time for Naomi. Eventually, the fox sensed Shanice's dark magic and followed the trail it left behind. Over the abandoned cola mart, Brownie, Gerald, Mr. Fluffles, Hiko, Samuel, and Naomi were face to face with Ramon Lebon and Shanice Harper. After Ramon introduced himself and Shanice, Brownie growled as he said, "How could I possibly forget that little witch?" Aww, are you angry I tried to make your show more interesting? Said Shanice in a sarcastic tone. My programming would have made you popular. Wouldn't you want to be popular? Your programs severely hurt my live audience, said Brownie, especially bringing that movie Hollow Vision to life. Wait, wait a minute, exclaimed Hiko. Big Papa once told me that movie wasn't suitable for children, just like Bobby's Mask. The only way you could have brought it to life was by seeing the movie. So how in the world did your parents allow you to see that movie? Shanice laughed and said, whoever said my parents allowed me to see it? I've been able to see a lot of things your parents would never show you. Then she looked at Brownie and said, and as for you, sometimes you have to break some rules and suffer to become popular in order to raise your ratings, my pet. I am not your pet, shouted Brownie. Then he faced Ramon and said, now back to you. How do you know us and what do you want? Patience, Brownie, said Ramon. I'm sure your sensei taught you something about that. However, I will inform you that the grandparents of your friend Hiko are here. Where are my grandparents? Demanded Hiko. You'll have to find them, said Ramon, holding up his staff. As it glowed, the thunder rumbled louder and the lightning flashed more ferociously. Eventually, a vortex opened, sucking up Mr. Fluffles, Brownie, Gerald, Hiko, Naomi, and Samuel into it. Ramon and Shanice laughed evilly, and he said, now the game begins. A few minutes later, the fox arrived at the parking lot, but she was too late. Ramon and Shanice had vanished. However, their dark magic still lingered, and the fox began to follow its new trail. The vortex hurled everyone at warp speed. Meanwhile, at the dojo of the fire station, three students were doing some kendo training. Suddenly, Hiko, Samuel, and Naomi appeared out of the vortex and landed on the floor. As the students helped them up to their feet, Hiko looked at one of the students and he was confused. Um, Naomi? He said, how did you change your clothes so fast? The student looked at Hiko more confused than he was as Naomi approached them and said to Hiko, I did not change my clothes, and she is not me. Hiko looked back and forth rapidly at Naomi and the student several times in shock. Eventually, he said to the student, you look just like Naomi. The student chuckled a bit, took a glance at Naomi, and said to Hiko, well, I guess I have a twin sister now. You are my twin sister? Asked Naomi. But how come I have not seen you before? And why did my parents not tell me about you? She didn't mean it literally, said the second student. It was a joke. But speaking of twins, I'm her twin brother Timothy Yukoshi. Most people call me Tim. and her name is Julie Yugoshi. The third student did a curtsy and said, and I'm Melina Kingston, but you can call me Melina. Of course they can call you Melina, you silly dilly, said Julie, grinning and playfully elbowing Melina. Melina giggled more as Hiko, Samuel, and Naomi introduced themselves. Then the vortex appeared again, and Brownie, Gerald, and Mr. Fluffles, say, falling out of it this time. As the kids helped them up, Billy entered, and after noticing what happened, he said, "Thank goodness you're all back. I assume this means the rescue mission was successful?" "Yes, but we have another problem," said Brownie. "My grandparents are here," said Hiko. "But some rabid sorcerer named Ramon Raban sent them somewhere and we don't know where." Suddenly, Julie stared off in the distance and her eyes glowed blue. Um, is everything okay, Julie?" asked Hiko. "She's having a vision," said Mr. Fluffles. "Wow!" exclaimed Samuel. "Well, that must mean she has psychic powers. Cool!" Julie looked at Hiko as her eyes went back to normal. But, "What did you see?" asked Hiko. "Forgive me for reading your mind, Hiko," said Julie. "I wasn't sure who the people in my vision were, but they resembled you, Hiko." Julie projected the images of her vision into Hiko's mind, and he was shocked at what he saw and said, "My grandparents! And there's some type of kind of skeleton dragon chasing them." "A skeleton dragon?" shouted Samuel. "That's got to be the dragon Skelegon," said Tim. "He's major bad news," said Melina. "Well, let's go find Skeleton and rescue my grandparents," said Hiko. "It's not that easy," said Brownie. "Why not?" asked Hiko. Mr. Fluffles explained. Back in 1985, there was a city known as Miriam not too far from Barnhart, with lots of farmlands for miles. One day, a wild dragon attacked the city. The military arrived immediately. They were able to defeat the dragon. Then one night, in 1988, an odd meteorite fell in the city, and the next day, the skeleton of that dragon rose from its grave. Somehow he was stronger than before, and he was able to regenerate himself every time the military attacked it. So everyone evacuated the city, and Ace and Silverstone sealed it with a magical barrier to prevent the dragon from escaping. Because of his skeletal form, the dragon and Miriam City are both called Skelegon. "How did he create this barrier?" asked Hiko. "Magitech," said Billy. "Mr. Silverstone's company, Silverstone Industries, specializes in producing it. It's used all around Yumeko, but the regions that use it the most are Majiron, Johnson, and here in the Douglas region." "All right, kids," started Brownie. "I'll contact Mr. Silverstone on what's going on. Ask him to let Gerald and I in the Skelegon City so we can rescue your grandparents, Hiko." "No way," said Hiko. "I'm coming with you." "There's no way I'm staying behind while my grandparents are in danger." "And I'm going too," said Samuel. "Heroic buddies gotta stick together." "I will go also," said Naomi. "I want to help you save your grandparents the same way that you saved me, Hiko." "I don't know if this is a good idea," said Gerald. "Skelegon is a mysterious place," said Mr. Fluffles. "There are many areas mixed up like a maze, so it would be wise to let the children come help you cover more ground and possibly discover the weakness of Skelegon, just like Hiko did against the giant zombie." Brownie and Gerald thought for a moment, and Brownie said, "All right then, let's get ready." Meanwhile, in Dashtail's room, Dashtail had fallen asleep, and Emily sat in the corner reading a book. Flora was bored and tired of waiting. I'm out of here, she said. I don't think so, said Emily, setting her book down. Brownie told you to stay here, obviously to keep you out of trouble. Look, you're not my mom, kitty cat, said Flora. Emily rushed in front of Flora and raised her voice. I told you not to call me that. Now lose the attitude or sit back down. Fine, said Flora. She sat down in her seat. But as soon as Emily sat down and picked up her book to read, Flora said, Bye-bye, you grumpy old kitty cat. Emily quickly set her book down, jumped up, and ran toward Flora. On that note, Flora stuck out her tongue, blowing raspberry as she vanished in a poof of fairy dust. This caused Emily to crash into Dashtail and knock him out of his bed. He woke up yelling in pain from his back, and Emily stomped her foot in frustration. Doggone it, shouted Emily. I don't like or trust that little troublemaking fairy. Something isn't right about her. Well, right now, I'm not fond of neither of you, said Dashtail, struggling to get up. Emily took a deep breath to calm down and apologized as she helped Dashtail back into bed. Then she thought for a minute and said, You know what? That's just fine. Let her leave. She wants to go so bad. She's been nothing but trouble since I got here. That clears away my problem. I'm not going after her. Emily stood for a moment and then let out a sigh. Dashtail looked at her, heading towards the door, and asked, You're going after her, aren't you, so Brownie won't be mad? No! She shouted and slammed the door as she walked out. Whatever, said Dashtail. What Sensei and Brownie see in her is beyond me. Almost kind of that last scene, almost kind of like Emperor's New Groove when when Pacha was like, "Fine, there's no Cusco, there's no Cusco." That's my problem. Ain't worried. And then of course he went after him. Chapter 3. Give a little sip. I'm boy drinking that like a Coca-Cola commercial. Meanwhile, Granny was driving down Interstate 30. Soon her and Big Papa saw the exit, Interstate 59. But when Granny took the exit, they didn't realize they went through a warp vortex. Now she was driving down what looked like Interstate 59, but there were no exits. Cat dash it, Archie, said Granny. Did I take the wrong exit? No, Esther, this should be Interstate 49, said Big Papa. Well, we should have passed by a sign telling us how far it is to West Gable Road, said Granny. Then dark storm clouds appeared, covering the sky. But there was no rain, no thunder, or lightning. Instead, skulls came down from the clouds. What the devil? Shouted Granny and Big Papa together as Granny stopped the car. However, the force of her applying the brakes suddenly caused the car to spin and crash into some of the skulls, knocking them off the freeway. Once the car stopped spinning, the remaining skulls, along with some more coming out of the clouds, sprouted huge spider legs. Oh, spider! Oh, almost not. Oh, yeah, spider. Okay, yeah. I was trying to make this okay. I kind of lost my place there. Huge spider legs and slowly approached the car. Like the skeletons Hiko and Samuel faced in the abandoned Cola Mart, the skulls would stop every few minutes to point with their legs, look at each other, and say, Hey, duh, 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 hey, Dun, dun, dun. Hey, dun, dun, dun. Kind of creepy, isn't it? As they continue approaching the car, what are we gonna do? Shouted Granny. Drive through really fast, said Big Papa. Run them over. Granny didn't hesitate. She drove so fast she knocked every skull off the freeway until an exit finally appeared. But it didn't say the name of the street. She immediately took the exit without thinking, turned right onto the street. After that, she pulled to the side of the road and stopped the car. What do we do now? Asked Granny. Big Papa thought for a moment and said, well, let's drive around until we find someone who can help us track and find the boys. All right, but you driving for now, said Granny. Big Papa drove for a long time. Eventually, he arrived at the entrance to a fishing pond. He drove inside, parked, and stepped out the car with Granny. Then he noticed Flora sitting by a tree near the pond, listening to her Walkman, and called out to her, "Excuse me, young lady, can you help us?" Flora couldn't hear Big Papa. She was so into the music, she even had her eyes closed, so she couldn't see Big Papa either. And she started jamming and dancing. Can't dash it, said Granny. Them young folks get to listen to their music on them devilish headphones. They can't hear a thing. It's that same way Michael was when AJ got some headphones for him on his 13th birthday. This, youngins. Suddenly, Big Papa heard a noise from a distance. Then Granny heard it too. As it got louder and louder, eventually there was a herd of angry golden buffaloes, just like the one from Big Papa's dream, slowly approaching them. Get that girl to safety, commanded Big Papa. Granny noticed Big Papa pick up a large stick nearby. What do you think you're doing? I'm gonna scare them away, said Big Papa. The buffaloes started to charge at Big Papa, and he charged at them, yelling like a knight going into battle. Ah! Like Granny yelled, Archie, get back here! Big Papa continued charging until he got close enough to hit the leading buffalo with the stick, causing him to stop. The others stopped upon noticing this, and Big Papa said demandingly, now look here, buffaloes. My wife and I are here looking for our grandson and his friends. So either you can help us or get out of the way. The buffaloes were about to charge again, but they stood still, looked around, and took off running away from Big Papa. Granny looked in shock. And Big Papa grinned, turned around and said, well, at least we can find the kids now. Hey, what's all the commotion? Asked Flora, approaching Granny. Suddenly, Granny's car was blasted to pieces by a fireball. Everyone looked and saw Skeleton and ran as he flew toward them really fast. Oh boy. Also, that buffalo scene sort of now that's actually a reference to something that actually did happen, but it wasn't buffaloes, it was bulls. When Big Papa took me fishing one time, and a whole thing of bulls just showed up. They didn't charge at us, but they just came approaching us with a whole bunch of them bulls too. And Big Papa said, "Hey, get that truck." And I got in there, and Big Papa kind of, I don't know exactly what he did, but some kind of way he got them to sort of shoot. You're like, yeah, so, yeah, that was. See that? Looks like I may have turned the page too far there. Ah, that's why. There's something that didn't look right here. Almost skipped the chapter. Chapter 4. The fox arrived on the roof of the firehouse. Then she used astral projection to allow her conscience to separate from her body and travel into the firehouse. sort of like what Doctor Strange does. Once the fox found Naomi talking with Brownie and the others, she listened in. Brownie explained the plan. Okay, Hiko, Samuel, and Julie will go with me to Skelegon City, and everyone and I'll stay here with everyone else," said Mr. Fluffles. "But, sir," started Naomi, concerned and worried, I do not mean to be disrespectful to you, but I said I would go with Hiko to help him save his grandparents." Mr. Fluffles gently placed his hand on Naomi's shoulder and said, "I know you did, dear child, but the reason the rest of us are staying behind is so we can be on alert in case Ramon strikes again. He might attack the city or interfere with the rescue, but we'll be ready to stop him." Naomi was still worried, but Melina chimed in excitedly and said, "It'll be all right, Naomi. With Brownie leading and Julie's sword skills, your friends will definitely be able to beat Skeleton, and whoever this Ramon guy is won't stand a chance against all of us with Mr. Fluffles on our side." Naomi smiled and said, "Okay, but promise me that you will all be safe and careful." "We will," said Brownie. "Well, since that's cleared up," said Julie, "let's go get some good weapons and armor to help us fight." "Sounds good to me," said Samuel. "Me too," said Hiko. "Hiko," said Naomi, approaching him, "I know I have given you this before, but I want to give it to you again." Then Naomi kissed Hiko's cheek. "Good luck." "Thank you," said Hiko, blushing. "You are welcome," said Naomi. Everyone went on for a moment until Emily entered and said, "I hate to break up this adorable moment, but Flora left." Brownie groaned. "Not again." I guess this has happened before. "You guys go ahead to Skelegon City. I'll use the scanners to search for Flora. I'll also act I'll ask Mr. Silverstone to open the barrier for you all," said Mr. Fluffles. "And I'll search the city and ask if anyone has seen Flora," said Gerald. "Okay, Emily can help you with the search in the city." "I don't think so," said Emily. "I'm coming with you," said Brownie, "to help Hiko find his grandparents. Sorry, but that fairy is nothing but trouble. I just know it. So it's better to let her go." Brownie sighed and Mr. Fluffle said, "Okay, Gerald and Billy, to your assignments. Emily will go with Brownie's team. There's no time to waste." Then Brownie led the four to the dojo to suit up in their armor. After that, they picked out their weapons. Brownie got himself a fire axe and a pump pressure spray. Emily got two batons, a grapple hook launcher, power bracelets that fire electrical shock discs, knockout gas, and needle missiles. Julie got two katanas and several daggers, and Samuel got some shurikens, smokescreen bombs, and a retractable bow staff. Hiko thought for a minute about what to use. Brownie approached Hiko and said, "I don't mean to be rude, you but you got to make your choice quick because we don't know how much time we got left to save your grandparents." On that note, Hiko instantly got an idea. He closed his eyes and focused his magic toward his pocket watch around his neck. It opened up, revealing the clock arrows spinning around extremely fast. Then the light glowed around and the watch Hiko and the watch was so bright it almost blinded everyone. Once the light vanished, everyone looked in shock. Hiko looked a little taller. His hair had bigger spikes. The suit he had on before had now changed into a gold and silver tunic with matching pants and a headband. tunic is sort of like a sort of Egyptian wear there. That's what he's wearing here. Mm-hmm. Matching paint saying the watch was now attached to the front of his tunic, and there was also a royal blue cape attached on the back of it. I didn't expect that, but it's cool, exclaimed Samuel. You look like a superhero. Does that mean you got some new magical powers? Some new magical superpowers? Of course, said Hiko. Everyone noticed his voice was slightly deeper as he continued speaking, but you'll have to see when we get there. I hope you know what you're doing, said Brownie. I'm pretty sure he does, said Samuel. However, since he changed his clothes, perhaps I can make a quick change. Chapter 5. Once Mr. Fluffles got Asen to open the barrier, Brownie, Emily, Hiko, Samuel, and Julie arrived in Skelegon City. Samuel was now wearing a kimono like Julie. However, his was blue with light blue and brown detailing, and Julie's was a darker blue with gold and red detailing. They went to look for clues, starting at the pond where Granny and Big Papa were before Skelegon appeared. Suddenly, the ground started shaking. Everyone looked around until they saw an army of giant skull-headed Venus flytraps coming out of the ground and started attacking. Julie instantly shielded everyone with a psychic barrier, which also absorbed the impact of all the attacks. Eventually, she crossed her arms across her chest. Then she uncrossed them, unleashing the barrier, knocking the fly traps down. Looks like the danger is starting up, said Julie. But then the fly traps started slowly getting back up. Everyone got their weapons ready, and Hiko said, well, if they're going to start the danger, then we're going to send it right back at them two times greater. Make that 2 times 2 greater, said Brownie. Let's clear this garden monstrosity fast. Will do, said Samuel. And we'll do it so fast, we'll be striking like the stars. On that note, the battle began. Brownie led the attack, hacking some of the fly traps to pieces with his axe. Julie did the same with her katanas. Emily blew up some with firing her needle missiles into the other fly traps' mouths, causing them to explode. Samuel threw smoke screen bombs, causing a lot of smoke to be released, blinding the fly trap. Then Samuel threw his shurikens, which confused the fly traps to the point of tangling up each other and coming apart. Time reversal control, shouted Hiko. At that moment, 2 clock arrows appeared on his hand, and he positioned them like a clock at noon. As he focused his magic through them, they began to glow. Then the severed skulls from the slain fly traps rose. A holographic image of a clock appeared behind Hiko. As the hands of the clock went backwards, the skulls attacked and devoured the remaining fly traps. After that, the skulls became bigger and faced Hiko to attack, but he knew what to do. Corona obliteration, shouted Hiko. The clock became a beam of light that struck all the skulls and turned them to dust. That was awesome, bro, said Samuel. I agree, said Julie. Your magic was impressive. Well done, kiddo, said Emily. Thank you, said Hiko. To be honest, I sort of made it up on the spot. Brownie chuckled and said, well, you've made up a lot of things, and they seem to work out in one way or the other. So as long as you keep it up the way you did now, we should succeed. Then everyone heard clapping, and the voice said, well, 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 isn't this precious? Everyone looked around and saw Ramon grinning. Hey, what have you done with my grandparents? Demanded Hiko. I might tell, I might tell you if you ask nicely, said Ramon sarcastically. Just say pretty please with the carrot cake. Like, okay, that does it, shouted Emily, extending her claws. I'll get you to talk, you funny bunny. Like, I'm going in with you, said Samuel, taking out his bow. Wait, hold it, you two, shouted Brownie and Julie. It was too late. Emily and Samuel were already charging toward Ramon. Emily went in first and slashed Ramon's face twice. Then Samuel used his bow to wham Ramon into a tree. After that, Emily picked up Ramon by his collar with one hand and pointed her claws at him with the other. I bet that will make you talk, she said. Samuel pointed his bow at Ramon and said, Yeah, tell us where Hiko's grandparents are now. Suddenly, Ramon vanished and his robe fell to the ground. After that, his staff became a cobra with a with a head like a manta ray and a scary devil face on it. Ugh. The cobra quickly wrapped around Emily and Samuel's bodies to bite them, but Julie quickly teleported them out of the cobra's grip. Kuroto obliteration! Shouted Hiko. The clock appeared again, firing another beam of light toward the cobra. The cobra quickly dug underground to avoid the attack. Once the beam cleared, everyone noticed the robe stand up and Ramon appeared in it. You can't defeat me that easily. So why don't you try asking nicely like I requested? And I'll tell you where my captives are. How about I look for the answer myself, said Julie. She froze Ramon from moving with her psychic powers and started scanning his mind. Eventually, she saw an image of Granny and Big Papa falling down a pitfall trap. Big Papa positioned himself to break Granny's fall. However, the landing caused Big Papa to injure his back. Oh boy. Then Skeleton showed up, grabbed Granny and Big Papa, and launched a fireball at Julie. She quickly got out of Ramon's mind. Her state of shock caused her to unfreeze Ramon. What did you see? Asked Hiko. It looks like your grandparents were captured by Skeleton, said Julie. I guess Skeleton wanted both of your grandparents for dinner, said Ramon. That's quite an appetite for a bony dragon. So if you plan to save them, you better hurry to his den. Skeleton isn't very patient when it's time to eat. Ramon laughed as he vanished. Hey, what's going on, Janara? Glad you're able to make it there. Yeah, we think we're about like halfway into the book there. About to go on chapter 6 there. There was a scene earlier I just read about this cobra that the heroes just faced, and the cobra had. Oh, it's cool. You know, they say better late than never. You know, I was kind of running a little late starting this, so you know, it's cool. But yeah, but this cobra had like a manta ray, the head of a manta ray with a scary devil face on it, and yeah, the what made me think of that combination, it was a YouTube video that said, "Hey, we found the real mermaid," and when you clicked on it, it wasn't really a mermaid. They just showed what looked. I guess this was supposed to be a manta ray, but it had a very creepy, kind of cringing looking face. That like what is this supposed to be? So yeah, that's what kind of make that's what I sort of thought of there. And that right there is the dragon skeleton. Oh boy, that's one bony dragon there. And hello to you, Billy. Oh, Billy. Billy, my boy now. That's my yeah. That's what I. That's who I imagine myself as in Power Rangers there because of the glasses. Yeah, but yeah. I definitely grown up a Billy fan now. So yep. Skeleton Chapter 6. Skeleton arrived at his. Oh, so they keep shipping. Funny you should mention that. I was actually looking at some old episodes there. And I actually, I don't know if I don't know if I mentioned before, but I'll say it again. Um, honest. Now, some people will, yeah, like you just said, some people will do that. But from my observation, in my personal, oh, don't freeze up on me now. In my personal opinion, I think the way the Rangers kind of act toward each other, including Billy and Trini, they sort of act more like siblings toward one another. I know they're all friends, but their relationship with each other is more like brothers and sisters, except Tommy and Kimberly. Now, Tommy and Kimberly, they were the only ones that, like Kimberly had her eye on Tommy, like, hi. They were the only ones that sort of had this little, relationship that they did try to put out there. Then, Kimberly left for the paying global games and, the Dear John letter. And I think it sort of, last time, Tommy, with Zio and Turbo, they sort of built him and Cat up there a little bit there. So, that was pretty much the only relation with the Ranger characters that they really put out there. But most of the other Rangers, they sort of acted more like siblings. They're more like I say, Tommy and Kim. They were the only relation that the writers did put out there, kind of in the in the open there. But yeah, they sort of treated the other Rangers more like siblings around each other. Yes, that including Billy and Trini, because yeah, it was almost like Trini was a big sister to Billy, kind of like a sister looking out for her little brother, kind of. Especially high five, hey Billy, you're up too high. So yeah, so kind of like me and Big Sis Casey. Yeah, she's like my big sister. So yeah, that's kind of the way they did Billy and Trini, like the way we are there. Yep, yeah they didn't mess around there. Yes, yep, that was true. Yeah, of course. Then the writers tried to, but that kind of thing happens in shows. Sometimes they'll change up things, but it is what it is. Say. So let's see. Oh yeah. All right. So with chapter 6, yeah. Skeleton arrived at his den and flew inside his special room. Yeah, he did. Yes, yeah, he did. As at the beginning of the series, yeah, yeah. They say it. That happens in high school. There, yeah. Then he placed. Was it March? I I think I may remember. There was so many of them, especially in season one. My I think that was the one in the episode where he faced that some kind of enchantress that captured her or something like that. He had to rescue her. She had like a little gem on. Not completely. Yeah, like I say, not. It's so like you just say. Yeah, it was so many. They Madam Woe. Yes. Okay. Yeah, from that episode. Okay. Yeah, I remember because I remember I had VHS Power Rangers food fight, and they had an interview with David Yost, and they showed one of the scenes from that Madam Woe episode where he was talking with Marge, and she's like, "I was worried too till the Power Rangers showed up." So they rather say today, especially the one in blue. He was so gallant, so courageous. Yeah. Oh, I mean, he was. So, yeah, I did. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember they showed that scene there. Yep, go Billy. So, so Skeleton arrived at his den and flew inside the special room. Then he placed Floor, Granny, and Big Papa on the ground. Big Papa quickly looked around and noticed some rocks on the ground. He picked them up and stood in front of Granny and Flora to protect them. Oh, that. Well, I mean, at least you got Billy now. There, yeah. You know what they say, At least you got him. At least you got him now. There, and he picked up and Skeleton positioned himself to eat. Not gonna. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I say, yeah. Stand. Yeah. Y'all stand by each other there. Big Papa shouted, "You better back off, you whatever the devil you're supposed to be, or else." Skeleton just roared, and Big Papa threw the rocks, which went into Skeleton's mouth as he started choking. Don't ask me how he choked the skeleton. Big Papa, Granny, and Flora escaped, but in less than a minute, Skeleton stopped choking and quickly flew after them. Just as he was about to catch them, Flora used her magic to make it dark where nobody could see anything. And then a drum roll started playing and a bunch of spotlights flashed in Skeleton's face. He looked around until he saw one spotlight on Flora. Then she poof. Skeleton, Granny, Big Papa, and herself outside the den next to a barbecue grill, a home audio system, and tables full of barbecue. What are you doing? Asked Granny in a whisper. What does it look like? Flora whispered back with a little attitude. I'm saving you old folks from being eaten. Now take the magic dust and find a way out. Granny was about to say something about Flora's attitude, but Big Papa gave her a signal to hold her peace to the crisis due to the crisis they were in. They took Flora's magic dust and escaped. Not right now, Granny. Yeah, but my granny, for real though. Yeah, you don't get no attitude with my granny though. Like, excuse me. That's like getting the attitude with Medea. What did you just say to me? Billy. Yeah, yes, he was. Yeah, especially with his confidence. Yeah, that's what was the major thing. Like I say, because he had the physical strength all the time in him from the very beginning. He just lacked in that confidence, and that's what everybody was trying to pull out of him. Then, and eventually, yeah, when he got that confidence up, he was like, okay, yeah, I could take on these putties and monsters and stuff. Yes, he told that brick bully, you're still here. I'm gonna be here as long as it takes to defeat you. Yep, yep. This thing, he was a hero in his own way. So, yep. So then Flora put in one of her tape cassettes in the home audio system, turned it on and raised up the volume. And once the song started, she began to dance and rap along with it. Barbecue, the barbecue, the barbecue, chicken wings, thighs, so good to the bone, with sausage, links, and the taste in the zone. All that meat put together on the cast iron grill, and it smells so good I can hardly sit still. Barbecue, barbecue, barbecue. She kept the As she kept up the performance, Skeleton tried to eat some of the barbecue on the table, but then he realized he couldn't eat it because it was an illusion. Skeleton shot a fireball at the home audio system, destroying it, causing the music to stop. And Skeleton stared and growled angrily at Flora, and she looked at him with a nervous smile and said, "Eh." And
And that was a smash hit song, "Barbecue," by the sensational Taylor Christopher Williams, also known as TC, for your entertainment. So you're welcome. Skeleton shot fire from his mouth at Floor, and she quickly dodged and flew away. Skeleton became more furious and flew off after Floor. The chase eventually led them to Brownie, Hiko, Emily, Samuel, and Julie, and suddenly a wart appeared, sucking everyone in. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. As it's Billy, and that's also a lesson to never underestimate your opponent in general. Yeah. Uh, it was a funny video I saw. Another example of that. Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls. They it was a promo of Powerpuff Girls and Ed and Nettie, and the Eds were like laughing at mostly at Bubbles, and she was starting to cry. But then suddenly they noticed something wasn't right. Eddie was still laughing. Bubbles went from tears to anger, and she flew and just whooped the crap out of Eddie. Yeah, make don't mess with Bubbles or any of them Powerpuff Girl. But yeah, so yeah, that's an example not to underestimate your opponent there. Yep. Bubbles could relate to that situation with Billy. Chapter 7. Back at the fire station, Billy and Gerald were searching for Flora. Eventually, Gerald arrived at the Royal Walk Shopping Center on East Gabriel Road and Carly Drive. He searched in different places like Armart Groceries, Webb's and Wesley Bookstore, Mighty Racer's Shoe Shop, the Premier World Video Store, and more. Sort of a reference to some shopping centers here in Shreveport there. He also asked different people if they had seen Flora. After a lot of searching, Gerald saw Anna coming out of a Plantco garden shop. They spoke to each other, and Gerald showed a picture of Flora to Anna as he explained the situation. "Oh my," said Anna. "I'm afraid I haven't seen her, but I would." Before Anna could finish, she was interrupted by a call on. He was interrupted by a call on Gerald's two-way APX radio. Excuse me. "Excuse me a minute," said Gerald as he answered it. "Gerald here, report." It was Billy with urgent news. He said, "Gerald, I just heard from Elena that Naomi disappeared." "Are you serious?" asked Gerald in a panic. "Believe me, it's no joke," said Billy. She's no she's nowhere in the firehouse at all, and I assume she must have went to help Brownie and the others escape Skeleton, even though Sensei Fluffles told her to stay behind. "She wouldn't even know where to find it," said Gerald. "And even if she did, she wouldn't stand a chance out there by herself." "What should we do?" asked Billy. "I have an idea," said Anna. "I can look for Flora, and you can help search for Naomi." Gerald thought for a moment, then he handed Anna a picture of Flora along with a spare two-way radio and said, "All right then, Anna. But if you find Flora or run into any trouble, call us immediately." "I will, ever so much," she said. Then Gerald said to Billy, "I'll come back and take Tim with me to search for Naomi, starting with Skeleton City." "Copy that," said Billy. "I'll also let Mr. Fluffles know. Over and out." The fox arrived at the barrier of Skeleton City along with Naomi. The fox the fox charged at the barrier to get through, but the magic in it knocked her back. "Are you okay?" asked Naomi. The fox got up and answered, "Yes, I am, but you need to stand back." Naomi stood back as the fox jumped up in the air and said, "Freezing spears!" The fox unleashed a bunch of ice made spears at the barrier that exploded on contact. When the smoke cleared, the barrier was still up. I have to put the Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess they probably, yeah, considering how those episodes went with them, I guess they probably weren't there. But like I say, that's high school for you. It's not like I say, it's kind of trial and error when it comes to relations in high school. And even younger. But yeah, even in high school, it's a trial and error there. Trust me, believe me, I've been through that. So, yeah, yep. And then once you kind of get older, sometime at 16 before you even leave high school. But when you start getting close to that graduation on into your adult life, yeah, then you start like, okay, yeah, you start kind of your mind kind of sharpens toward wanting to get serious there. It kind of varies with each person because each person thinks differently, but yeah, but usually, yeah, as they say, a different pace for everybody, but yeah, they start getting serious toward once they start entering that adult life there. Yeah. So what should we do now? Asked Naomi. I'll have to use my astro form to enter and hope that it works, said the fox. Meanwhile, back in Skeleton's den, Brownie, Hiko, Julie, Samuel, and Emily arrived out of the warp and appreciated that. Out of the warp, and when they got up, they noticed Flora and Skeleton were missing, and there was no sign of Granny and Big Papa. Then a hologram of Ramon appeared. Welcome to the final level of the game. Enough playing enough playing around, Ramon, said Hiko firmly. Release my grandparents now. And also Flora, said Brownie. I know you put them somewhere in here. They, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They, yeah, but I know it's all good, man. Yeah, like I say, you got say us, and got you and Billy, and like I say, and just say it's all what it is there. Release my also, and I'm a, I'm afraid I can't do that," said Ramon, "because it's unknown where my warp sent them." Liar! Shouted Emily, extending her claws. She charged at the hologram but went right through. Ramon laughed and said, "Even if I could release them to you, you'd have to face Skeleton in order to get out of this den alive. So you better get started." They, Ramon laughed more as the hologram vanished. Everyone searched the den trying to find Skeleton. However, the den was a complex maze filled with false paths and traps, sort of like Warp Zone 8 of Super Mario Brothers. To make matters worse, there were more of the various creatures from before, like Skullhead Venus flytraps, skullheads with spider legs, and more skeletons shooting fireballs. Yeah, you're dealing with a skeleton dragon. He's going to have a thing for skeletons. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, and here we coming to the final chapters here. Chapter 8. The fox managed to pass through the barrier in her astral form and quickly made her way into Skeleton's den. They, the once she got there, she spotted a lot of Flora's magic dust and used it to analyze the den and locate Hiko, Brownie, Julie, Emily, and Samuel. Then they, the the fox entered the den and approached everyone. Hiko said, "Hiko Makuro," she said. Everyone stopped and turned to look at the fox. "Who are you?" asked Brownie. The fox replied, My name is of no importance right now. All you need to know is that I've come to lead you out of here. Hey, but we can't. But we can't leave until we defeat Skeleton and rescue both my grandparents and Flores," said Hiko firmly. "They are not in the den," said the fox. "So you just expect us to take your word?" asked Emily suspiciously. "I don't think so." Julie quickly read the fox's mind and said to her one, "She's telling the truth." "Are you sure?" asked Samuel. "Positive," said Julie. Then lead then lead the way so we can escape," said Hiko. Suddenly Ramon appeared in person. "I don't think so." "Hey, we don't care what you think, you silly rabbit," said Samuel. "Yeah, now get out of our way," demanded Brownie. He fired a powerful stream of water from his pump pressure sprayer at Ramon. Title, title surprise, said Ramon, holding up his staff. Then the eyes glowed bright red as the water became a tidal wave and went back toward everyone. "Avalanche counter reverse," said the fox. She froze the tidal wave and sent it back toward Ramon as an avalanche. However, he made a loud whistle, and suddenly a fireball was launched at the avalanche, shattering it to pieces. The fireball came from Skelegon. He entered and stood next to Ramon. "You're not you're not leaving unless you defeat Skelegon," said Brownie. "But don't worry, I'll help you out a little." "What do you mean by helping us out a little?" asked Emily, extending her claws. "I'm going to pick one of you to fight Skelegon one-on-one," said Ramon. "And the rest of you will be free to go back to the fire station. I pick Hiko." "Hey, no way, Buster," said Samuel. "We're in this fight together." "That's right," agreed Julie. "You won't have a choice in the matter," exclaimed Ramon. "And when Skelegon defeats him, I'll open the barrier and Skelegon will be free to devour whoever he chooses. Now be gone!" Then Ramon made a warp, sent Brownie, Emily, Julie, and Samuel back to the fire station, and Hiko was stuck to face Skelegon alone. Here in the ninth chapter, getting close to finish here. Hiko and Skelegon were warped near Skelegon's special room onto a rickety rope bridge with wooden boards to stand on. Hiko looked around and noticed the bridge was high up over a boiling lake of lava, almost like what they say in Shrek when they over a boiling lake of lava. Hiko was a little nervous, as he said to himself, "This is just like most of the cartoon shows. What is it with rickety bridge and extremely high places, especially over lava?" The battle began. Skelegon flew toward Hiko to attack first. Hiko dodged, and Skelegon quickly turned around and swooped toward Hiko again. Hiko managed to dodge, but nearly tripped on a broken board. He quickly became really terrified, making it hard for him to think of an attack. He quickly ran to the end of the rope bridge to get off of it and think. Skelegon sensed his fear and flew toward him towards the opposite end. He grinned evilly at Hiko and started jumping up and down, making the ground shake. Then Hiko looked behind him and saw a bunch of skullhead Venus flytraps, skullheads with spider legs, and more skeletons. This made him so terrified, he got on his knees and closed his eyes. Just when it seemed like the end, everything stopped moving. There's so many things come to my mind just with this little passage right here. Um, the fear that Hiko is feeling, that's the same kind of fear that I had when my principal back in summer school, with his crazy self, told me to go up to the top of the bleachers, and there was plenty of room on the bottom row. So I go up as he asked me. Then the bell rings, everybody leaves, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck because I'm looking down and freaking out at the height. Yeah, it was pretty much like Hiko in this situation there. And also the the whole battle between with how Skeleton's attacking them on the rickety bridge and stuff. It's definitely a reference to Mario Brothers with the dragon. When that the dragon be at the end of the bridge and you have to try to get past him at the right time to disable the bridge and have him fall in the lava or something like that. And also another thing in Mario Brothers, these little I don't know what they call, but these little creatures that be throwing like they look like they be throwing jacks at you or something. And say you don't have no firepower, like you don't have like you can't shoot any fireballs. So you're trying to wait for the perfect time to run past them, sort of like the dragon. You're like, okay, trying to wait it out. Suddenly they get tired of waiting for you and they start coming toward you, still throwing the jack. And you're like, oh wait, no, no. Do 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 do. And the game's over. Do 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 do. So yeah, pretty much a lot that comes to my mind with that there, and also more reference with Yugi. Yeah. Hiko said a voice. Hiko, open your eyes. Me. Oh. Okay. 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 There's a reason. There's a reason I said that. Okay. It's supposed to be Hiko, but the reason that kind of came out my mouth, kind of blurred up because that another thing that actually not in reality, but close to it. It was a dream I had where I was at work, and when I came to the back of the store, this guy, there was this guy. He was saying some stuff to Christina, and I told him off. I was like, man, leave her alone. And then he approached me in the back of the store and pointed a gun at me. And I was like, whoa, don't shoot me. And just when he was about to pull that trigger, everything just froze for a second. Nobody, like, I was the only one moving, and Jesus himself walked in from the double doors and put it like, Gabriel, wake up, wake up, wake up, Gabe. Oh boy, if that hadn't happened, I probably would have had a major heart attack there from the fear of all that there. So yeah, that's kind of why that slipped out there. Yeah, I was also thinking of that incident there. Oh boy. So Hiko opened his eyes and saw what was going on. Then he noticed a boy that looked just like him and was even dressed like him. The only difference was the boy was in astral form like the fox. Who are you? Asked Hiko. He noticed his voice was in his normal tone. Then the boy spoke in a deeper tone that Hiko spoke in earlier. I am the one you I am the one who you imagine yourself being. Sometimes when you wanted to be a hero, after getting your watch from Big Papa, Hiko took a moment to think, and then he remembered, oh yeah, I imagined myself as the ultimate time magician fighting for justice. That's right, said the boy. Now you must pull yourself together and be that hero to defeat Skeleton. I don't know if I can by myself, said Hiko. You're not alone, said the boy. Your family and friends are always with you physically and in spirit. The same bravery you had with them, you can have it now by conquering your fears in the name of Jesus in order to defeat Skeleton. Hiko took a moment to think of what the boy said. In his mind, he saw everyone he knew gather around him, and he even saw Jesus in the midst of them. They told Hiko he wasn't alone, sort of like the first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! When the friendship symbol. Yugi, we're all right here with you. Yeah, you got to believe in yourself, Yugi. So, so, are you ready to face the enemy? Asked the boy. The fears Hiko had earlier started to fade. He stood up with confidence and said, "Yes, I am. Despite how scary things look, in the name of Jesus, I will not let it stop me." Also, and also the same way Casey did for me in summer school. There, let's see. Oh no, it's cool. Oh, you cool then? Like, now I was talking about some of the stuff that this reminded me of. You cool, Janara? Yeah, but the fact when they the motivation for Hika, yeah, is definitely the same that Big Sis Casey gave back in summer school, especially with them bleachers there. It's like, hey, just come on down. I'm right here. Just keep your eyes on me as you come down. And also pretty much getting through summer school there. Just like that, like I said, that and they say little brother, they say coming toward his big sister there. Yeah, and Hiko closed his eyes to focus his magic to think of a plan. Oh, I'm gonna skip that. Okay. Then then let's show that boneheaded devil beast a thing or two, said the boy. Hiko closed his eyes to focus his magic and think of a plan. Once he got one, he opened his eyes. The boy was gone and everything started moving again. Ramon appeared next to Skeleton and said to Hiko, Just come ac- just come across and try any pathetic plans. So once they fail, Skeleton can end all this. Hiko's voice deepened again as he said, I have no pathetic plans, Ramon, but what I do have is the one way to put an end to Skeleton once and for all. Impossible, said Ramon. Your dragon's time is up, said Hiko, holding up his hands. Corona extinction! The hands on Hiko's watch went round and round extremely fast, and the den shook like an earthquake. Ramon was about to attack Hiko until he noticed Skeleton and the other skeletons and skull creatures becoming fossils, and they fell into the lava and turned into ashes. Ramon was in shock. All right, Ramon, said Hiko. Now it's time to end you, just like Skeleton and his bone monsters. Not today, Hiko, said Ramon. But we'll meet again. Then Ramon sent Hiko into a warp out of the den. And the final chapter, to end the book, chapter 10, the warp sent Hiko back to the fire station, and everyone was glad to see him. After some conversation, Granny and Big Papa took Hiko and Samuel back to their house in the real world, just as Yolanda, Hiko's mother, arrived to pick him and Samuel up. Once the day was over, Hiko wrote about his day in his journal. Dear Journal, he began, this day was not like any other day. First of all, Samuel and I went to Yumeko for our first adventure, and boy, it was something. I got I got us there using a watch that Big Papa gave me for my birthday. It's just like the one he used for him and Granny to visit Yumiko. The one difference is his watch is kept in his pocket on a chain, and mine had a chain fixed to wear like a necklace. So once Samuel and I arrived, we went looking for Brownie, and this fairy named Flora tried to help us. However, she accidentally led us to the abandoned cola mart filled with skeletons, zombies, and flying cash registers. Then, once I discovered I could use magic powers, so with that and some help from Samuel, we were able to defeat them and even rescue a princess named Naomi Ricky. I think she likes me because she kissed me a lot and she's really pretty. I hope I get to see her again. Also, the fact the thing I may have mentioned before, but Naomi he mentioned about her uh, kissing him on the cheek constantly. That's how That's what Christina kept doing when we first met each other. It was like, does she like me? as as getting all nerdy about it, and I have no shame in that. Then hope I get this. I hope I get to see her again. After that, yeah, that's what you made me do when you kissed me, baby. after after that, there was another girl named Shanice Harper that Brownie called a witch. She made this she made this giant zombie appear, but Brownie and his friend Gerald defeated it with a little help from me. Then this rabbit sorcerer named Ramon showed up and warped us to the firehouse. Samuel and I met Melina, Kingston, Julie Yukoshi, and Tim Yukoshi. Julie had a vision of Granny and Big Papa being chased by a skeleton dragon called Skelegon. She went with me, Brownie, Samuel, and this cat named Emily. It was really scary, especially when I had to face Skelegon alone. But the hero I imagined myself being appeared from within my watch. He motivated me and helped me get over my fears. In the name of Jesus, I was able to destroy the dragon, but Ramon warped me back to the firehouse. Seemed like everything is okay for now, but like Ramon said, this is just the beginning. There was also a blue fox with ice magic. She helped us out a bit. I wonder who she is, and how did she know my name? On a side note, Emily didn't seem too trusting of Flora, but now I think she kind of trusts her since she tried to save Granny and Big Papa. Also, it seems like Brownie likes Emily the same way I like Naomi. Huh, I wonder if they'll be a couple. If I see Naomi again, maybe we'll be a maybe maybe we'll be a couple. Maybe Samuel and Flora will be a couple too. Who knows? One more thing to add. Samuel figured out Samuel figured with us going on more adventures now, he was going to become a superhero. He'll be working on his costume and his superhero name. I should make a name for the hero I created for myself. I'm thinking the name Hero, and I'll call my watch the Destiny Watch. Anyway, that's all for tonight, dear journal. Good night, everyone, and be ready for the next adventure. And I guess you could say Hiko put a little picture of himself in the book, in the journal there. Probably, if he actually drew it in there, it probably look a little different there. And of course, once again, special thanks to Jesus Christ, his Father Jehovah, for all my support and family and friends for everything that helped me make this book, and many more to come, like book number 3 next week. As you can see there. Yep. So yeah, that would be the second book here. Say read about Brownie Tuesday and Hiko today. Appreciate it, Janara there. Yep. It's gonna we're gonna be, like I said, we're gonna be reading the third one next week. There, introduce Samuel gonna don his cape and cowl as, of course, Star Striker, the Supreme Star Striker, with the likeness of EJ the Supreme. That's where the Supreme title comes from. Good old EJ there. Yep. One thing that inspired me to make that character Star Striker was Static Shock. Yeah, superhero Static Shock. Woohoo! Oh yeah, I bet you he would. There, yeah, being a fellow hero there. So, yeah, they say we heroes got to stick together. So, like I say, I'm gonna wrap this up here. Oh yeah, like, yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up here, and like I say, for everybody, say here as well as also in the replay as well. Definitely like, share, subscribe, and basically get you a copy of these books that we're reading here. Let's say, and also definitely support us on that Patreon.
just like the ones we got, EJ the Supreme, Big Sis Casey, and Iceman Universe. Uh, EJ and Big Sis Casey are also part of our Miracle Crew along with Queen Tina. So be sure to check out all of that, all of what they got going on too on their YouTube channels. Got the links in the description box. Especially, EJ got some new stuff coming out, and his live streams he do every Monday and Friday. New direction he going. The stuff that Queen Tina and Big Sis Casey got, and also Iceman Universe. So yeah, definitely also support him too because he got reactions to Hey Arnold, One Piece, Naruto, and Ed, and Eddie, and some movies. Hey, glad you enjoyed it there. Yep. Listen, like I say, we should hopefully, good Lord say the same. We should be back Tuesday there. Look forward to doing that where I can read that third book. And just like you hang out with us in these live streams, you can definitely hang out with us on Discord. I'm gonna put my I do have the Discord server in the description box too, but I can also put it in the community tab. Yep, you can um, do you if you have if do you have Discord, Janara? Yeah, because like I said, we got two servers, both me and EJ. Um, like I said, I do post them both of them, but in I'm just being honest. EJ seemed like he kind of got a little better with his Discord for it's like like people socialize everything like that. Um, yeah, that's one good thing with having crew because each crew member got a different strength there. So yeah, just like Yugi and his friends, all of us together, we stand together there with all our strengths there, and help pull each other up. And one of us fall or something like that. So yeah, definitely. But like I say, if you have one, I'll definitely for you and anybody else who want to join the Discord servers of mine and also EJ's Discord servers. I'll put all of them up in the community tab as soon as I finish here. So y'all can check them out and join us in there along with other people we got in our servers and stuff. Yeah, they got a pretty good little group and everything that follows us. A lot of young bucks there, but there's some good people there. And it's a good say we try to set a good example for our youngins that's following us there. So yep, and like you say there, and of course Facebook obviously, and selling to some on the McCary app, and I got to get pictures of Megatron and binoculars so y'all can see if y'all want to get that Dragon Megatron. So, with all that said, that's it. As Bugs Bunny, as Looney Tunes say, we believe, that's all, folks. Take care, everybody. And in them.